You're watching Community Conversations, a ConcordTV production.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Community Conversations. My name is Doris Ballard. I'm the Executive Director of ConcordTV, and this is a production of ConcordTV. It's also a podcast. So you can go to our website anytime, yourconcordtv.org, and tell your friends if they miss this that they can go watch it on demand on our website as well. So my guest today has got a very exciting thing to talk about. Yes, I'm very excited to introduce you to Miriam Carter. She's the Executive Director of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen. Miriam, welcome.
Thank you, Doris. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is a pleasure having you.
Thanks.
And boy, I mean, the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen, how fortunate are we to have that organization in Concord, New Hampshire?
It is definitely a wonderful thing, and it is a statewide organization with 750 members, 8 galleries. So our headquarters are located in downtown Main Street, Concord, and all of its new revitalization, which we're taking part in. But we've been in the state for 86 years and are well known by many, but many people are still learning about us. So I appreciate this opportunity.
Well, we're happy to have you on here anytime.
Thanks.
All right, so let's start by talking about you first, Miriam, because I mean, you are an artisan yourself.
I am.
Yes.
So I have an interesting start to my career. I've actually been a working full-time felt maker, fiber artist for 30 years. I was actually one of the first felt makers in the country doing National Craft Show circuit before felt became felt. What I mean by that is I was begging people to buy my felt products. I'm known for being the very tall hat maker. And I sold my hats throughout the country, and over the first 5 years of my career I didn't really see any other felt makers, but then people started learning about felt making, and it's blossomed into this wonderful creative media category, which I have certainly enjoyed the process of seeing other people come into it and bring all their creativity. Around 5 years ago, I decided that I would step up and be on the fair committee for the League's annual Craftsmen's Fair to help them with some ideas. I had the experience of going to national craft shows, and I'd seen a lot, and I said maybe I can help out. And I think there's that aspect of getting older and wanting to give back. So I jumped on board, and then at some point in that journey, I was designated the chair of the Juried Members Advisory Board. So we have a board of trustees. We're a nonprofit. And we have 750 members, as I mentioned, and they needed a voice on the board. So as the chair of the Juried Members Advisory Board, I became that person. And then through a series of events, the position was opened up as the executive director, and I offered to step in as with my talents as the interim executive director. I'm very fortunate that the Board of Trustees took a leap of faith and hired me, and within 5 months, the membership had asked that I be taken on as a full-time executive director, and I've been there for about a year and a half, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this part of my career and this journey.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
It is definitely wonderful to have you as the director of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen, as an artisan yourself, and I wish I had known about the hats that you made, because I'm a hat person.
Oh,
so
great.
I would love to buy some of your
We'll do that.
product.
We'll get together sometime.
Absolutely. Speaking of something that I love to buy, I love to shop in your store, and there is a store. So let's talk a little bit about the store that's on Main Street. I know that the League itself and its exhibits are held in the Smile Building.
Right,
correct?
right.
Which is on 49 South Main Street. For anyone who may have never popped in there to see it, you should really see it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that location.
Okay, so it's one of our longest standing stores, and Janine is our manager, and she's terrific. I think that store is well loved by many, and we formerly had another location on North Main Street, but that's a long time ago. And several years ago, about 8 or 9 years ago, I believe, basically a group of men in town heard that the League was moving to Henniker because we were looking for a possible new location, and between Steve Dupre, Tim Sink and Byron Champlin, they advocated for us to stay, and a capital campaign happened, and we are now located in the beautiful Smile Building at 49 South Main Street, where we have an exhibition gallery. We do 4 exhibits a year, And we also have the permanent collection, the Grodent permanent collection, and we're about to celebrate a really special event. The Stevens exhibition is about to open, and this is our 85th year for our fair, and it's the 85th birthday for Norman Stevens. And he and his wife Nora have been incredible collectors, so they have donated 85 pieces to our collection.
Amazing.
So that will be running through the summer. But we have a lot of our craftspeople actually have the option to either, they have the option to do our fair, or they have the option to sell their work through our galleries, and many of them join Concord because it's so close to headquarters, but we have North Conway, Littleton,
You have several areas,
Meredith,
right?
Nashua, Sandwich. I don't want to miss anybody.
Well, go to the website.
Go to the website.
Yes, at nhcrafts.org, right?
Exactly,
right.
and it's a brand new website, so it's an exciting thing to see. So I encourage everybody to do that.
Now, yes, they can go into the store that's further on North Main Street. They can go into the Smile Building.
Right,
and
the
check it
exhibit.
out.
We're right
The
across from the
exhibit.
chamber.
That's right. And but something that I'm very excited that's coming up in September, which we'll talk about that in great length in a bit. So you're not going to want to miss that discussion. But is the Sunapee Crafts Fair that is every year, and that's happening August 4th through 12th.
It is.
Yes. How long has that been happening? Tell us about the fair.
Okay, so it has an interesting history. The league itself is 86 years old. We've been producing fairs, which started in the North Country for 85 years. We've been at Mount Sunapee Resort, working with them, first with the state and then with the owners of the resort for 54 years. And many of the managers that we are working with now have been working with us for 20 years. So we have a long standing there. Many people think of it as a Sunapee fair. I have a branding requirement that I call it the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen's Annual Craftsmen's Fair at Mount Sunapee Resort. But the state of New Hampshire has a lot of history and habits, and as we all do, so we hear the Sunapee Fair a lot. But it's in Newbury, New Hampshire, Sunapee Resort, and it's going to be a spectacular fair this year because one of the things as a craftsperson and also administrator, I now have the opportunity to say, how can we make this better, shake it up, make it more appealing to more people. Craft has a history, and as does everything, of an evolution, and we want to tell many young people and millennials that there's a wonderful thing called making craft. So we're spreading the word. This year we're going to be doing some new things. We're going to have a New Hampshire craft beer and some wine. We're going to have a lovely wine and beer garden, and then we're going to be having a wonderful new exhibit called the Science and Math of Craft, which is kind of the conversation of STEM to STEAM, and that opportunity for that interactive experience is to really learn how artists have to involve a lot of math and science in their work. So I was a dyer. I would dye the wool that I would use, so I would have to know about formulas and heat and how to not burn the wool so it was usable. Those are a few things that we're doing, but there's plenty of demonstrations, plenty of hands-on demonstration, and then of course there's over 300 people who have brought their work to be exhibited and sold. Our craftsmen are rich and talented, and rich in their gifts and talented in their work. So it's a sight to be seen.
It's really exciting, and I encourage people to possibly, if you've never been, to go. And I try to buy one special piece every year for my home or for a gift for my daughter or grandchildren, because there's something affordable for everyone. I mean,
thank you for saying that. Yeah, there's a misconception that people can't afford it, and there's also a misconception that it never changes. So I'd like to share with you that our craftspeople like to stay in their same location because they're creatures of habits just like the rest of us, so they want to know where they're going to be sitting. And so sometimes people will walk through the fair and they'll say, oh, it looks the same, but really if you stop, they may be in the same location, but craftspeople are creative people and they're never going to stop creating, so there's always something new. I know when I was making craft, I would bring out 2 or 3 new hat styles every year because my customers wanted to see what else I could do. So, and we're really conscious of the fact that we need to let people know that they can buy something beautiful for $15 or $20.
That's right.
And a great opportunity is to go to see our exhibits. We have 3 very special exhibits, Living with Craft, and that shows how you can do what you're doing, bring craft into your life and enjoy it. And the beauty of a craft show is you get to meet the maker and chat it up and learn about them, and then you have that that
You
story.
have a connection.
You have that connection.
Yes, right.
We also have a craftware exhibit, which shows you how to wear craft, jewelry, clothing, and we have great exhibits. And then we have the sculpture garden, which is, if you're a gardener, what a great way to put an accent into your garden and make it more beautiful.
Love the sculpture garden.
I do
It's
too.
wonderful. And speaking of that, Pam Tarbell, who is the proprietor of Millbrook Gallery and Sculpture Garden, she was on your board for
she was for some
years
time.
ago. And
yeah.
It was at that time that she was on the Creative Concord Committee, which I want to talk about in a second.
Okay.
And that leads us right into this September event. But Pam Tarbell was, I believe, was on your board at that time, and really was, along with Steve Dupree and, as you said, Byron Champlin, Tim Sink of the Chamber, said we cannot lose the league from Concord.
Yeah.
So
thank you for sharing that.
yeah, what a loss that would have been had you not stayed in Concord. So kudos to you and everyone who was involved.
There's a legacy there, and I really appreciate. They've been great fans of ours. So.
Right. And it seems to be working out wonderfully. So
it has been.
Yeah. I know the city manager and the mayor are very happy, especially the mayor and the city council, very happy that the league is staying in just as many of us as I am happy you're there. But before I go on to what's happening in September, and I keep teasing you, I know. And
you're wicked.
I know. If you have no idea. If you're just tuning in, my guest is Miriam Carter. This is Community Conversations, and Miriam is the executive director of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen. And you must be familiar with them. If you're not, you need to go to their website, nhcrafts.org, because I started collecting some pieces and got to know the maker, the artisan. And there's nothing more exciting than being able to say, what's your story? I know you.
Right.
And you do have some videos that you're going to share with us about some of your craftsmen.
We are.
That we'll be putting on Concord TV and on our, on our channels, on
Terrific.
Our website, yourconcordtv.org. Got to put a plug in for Concord TV
Absolutely.
as well. And you can watch anything from anywhere in the world on on a video. Anyway, so you're part of the Creative Concord Committee, which is part of the Chamber of Commerce.
It is.
This is where I first met you. And last year they being the committee was part of a new arts fest, Capital Arts Fest. And so let's talk a little bit about how that went and how this September you're starting, the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen will be starting a new tradition.
We will. Okay.
So let's talk about that.
Do you want to hear about the mayor?
I want to hear about, I don't know if you want to share a story that he kind of hoped that you, but let's,
so
that's a great little story.
I'll just share with you that prior to my entry as the executive director, the city had come several times to the league asking for a special event on Main Street, and they just didn't have the ability to produce that. I've experienced street fairs all my career. I would do 20 shows a year, and many of them were outdoors, and I've had wonderful experiences in San Francisco and Philadelphia and places like that, and I've seen how you can do it. So last year, I was admittedly excited and a little bit overzealous, and I said, let's give it a try. We're going to do a small street fair. But then what happened, and I learned my lesson, that all of my craftspeople had signed up, and there was only about 30, but they had done so well at the crafts fair that they didn't have the inventory, and they couldn't do the fair. So then, in fairness to them, I said, I didn't give you enough advance notice. We'll put out the applications many months in advance. So this year, we will be producing the first annual Capital Arts Festival in downtown Concord on September 28th through 30th. It'll be on Main Street, right in front of League headquarters at 49 South Main Street. And a big thing that's happening in the world of nonprofits is partnering and celebrating the gifts and talents of other organizations. So Capital Arts Fest is doing that by partnering with the Capitol Center. They will be providing New Hampshire craft beer. They'll be providing music. We're also going to be partnering with other organizations as well, the Chamber. And many of the restaurants in town. There'll be food trucks, there'll be art, there'll be craft. It'll be just wonderful. And it's going to be on Friday the 28th from 5 to 8 p.m., Saturday 10 to 5, and then Sunday 10 to 4. Rain or shine. And
rain or shine. You'll have tents.
So let me tell you, thank you. The reason this is so cool is that Most of my craftsmen are used to having very large circus-like tents to present their work in. They set up their booths in these great things. So you can go to the fair at Mount Sunapee Resort,
Oh, the
and you're
tents are
basically,
huge,
you
right.
can bring an umbrella if you need to, but frankly, you don't need it because they're so close.
That's right.
And it's a rain or shine event. So we decided to produce that on Main Street. So we'll have 40-foot wide tents, 100-foot long, and our craftsmen will be in those tents. There'll be some other smaller individual tents outside, but it'll be a real opportunity just to come and enjoy and purchase craft and enjoy a wonderful environment. It's at the peak of foliage, so fall foliage, so we'll be certainly marketing outside of the state because we want to draw people into the state of New Hampshire. It's what we rely on. And we are supported in many ways by the Travel and Tourism Council of New Hampshire through their JPP grants. So they help us in many ways, and we want to ensure that we give them a plug because their website is incredible and they talk about all the events in New Hampshire, and we're a big part of that.
So this is the first year that
First
you'll
year.
be producing this, and being a part of the committee with you, we had hoped that maybe last year would have happened, but pulling this off in just a few months is probably a wise
nutty.
thing to wait.
Nutty, totally nutty.
So, but now you are branding this Capital Arts Fest as a Concord, New Hampshire annual event.
Okay, and I can safely say it's an annual event because basically the city has said we want this to happen and we'll support you. So they're one of our in-kind sponsors. They're supporting us, and we greatly support we greatly appreciate their support, and especially the mayor. The mayor really has wanted to see this happen. I think everyone understands the importance of Main Street and how that big initiative has brought a vitality to downtown Main Street. I grew up in I grew up in New Hampshire. I live in the southwest part of the state, and I always thought of Concord as kind of the capital and not a very interesting place. And when I arrived here, I was like, wow, I am so lucky to work in this community. In the past year and a half, I've just learned even more what a magnificent community it is.
Right.
So I think there's great leadership in the city, and I think the opportunity to partner with the city to make sure this event happens, not this year, but moving forward, will benefit everyone in the city, not only for the entertainment value and the culture, but really for the businesses in the town, because we're going to make it possible to draw attention once again. As they did the first time, the committee actually created a Capital Arts Day last year, and we brought in many people from outside the region who discovered Concord. In fact, our gallery at headquarters had the most significant traffic. We had over 190 people on that one day.
Now
That
that's
was
success
major.
for
Right.
the first year.
Yeah,
Right.
so that was a separate event, and that involved a lot of our community. We're still trying to involve the community, but this is a league event, and but we will be inviting not only league members to participate, but we've gone out of our borders and we've talked to other very talented artists who meet our standards, so they'll be invited to display their work as well.
Wonderful.
And we will be having a lot of local entities too, and their creativity show up as well. But I'll leave that to the fall when you can all come and see for yourself.
Well, that's another good little teaser. So.
Yeah, it's all about teasing.
This is Community Conversations, a production and a podcast of Concord Community TV. And if you're just tuning in, my guest is Miriam Carter. She's the Executive Director of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen. They've got their big Craftsman Fair happening August 4th through 12th, which is held at Sunapee in Newbury, New Hampshire.
Mount Sunapee Resort.
But the other new big news is that September 28th through 30th, there is a Capital Arts Fest that is going to be produced by the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen, the first one ever, and it is going to be an annual event. And I love the fact that, first of all, Main Street is amazing.
It is.
And I think it's the success of Main Street bringing the new redevelopment was definitely shown during this recent market days.
Oh my gosh, it was great.
It was unbelievable, really. I did not try to cross the buildings on the slack line, but that's for another discussion. But we did get some videotape of it. And Concord TV does, we'll talk about partnerships, because
Absolutely.
nothing like this happens, and you and I as directors know when we go to meetings at the Creative Concord Committee and we see the people around the table that are Capital Center for the Arts and all different type of leaders in the arts community and supporters in the arts community who are, the collaborations are crucial to the success of our organizations.
Yeah.
So the fact that you are near Capital Center for the Arts, and I love that it's being thought of as the Arts District.
Yeah, we have
now
to.
That southern part.
Yeah, that southern. People get concerned from a
Right.
naming stage, but
Right.
it's basically, there's a lot of performance going on there.
Yes.
We're trying to, I think Pam would share with you this, that, the visual arts, we want to increase interest in the visual arts, whether it's through a gallery or through sculpture.
Throughout the city as well.
Throughout the city. I walked Market Days, it was amazing, and
It
Michelle
was.
Johnson, ED, and her team have done a great
did.
job to produce it.
they did.
I think it was an incredibly fun event. The nice part, I think, is that we're on the other part of town doing our events, so basically the entire use of Main Street will happen, and we have the ability to go south, so that does not impact our stores and our merchants down the road, but we will be bringing in plenty of people who will also be able to experience our event as well as move into town. So it's all about, you're correct, it's all about collaboration these days. The state of New Hampshire, I love being a New Hampshire resident, and I'm not originally from here, so I can't say I was born here, but I came here when I was 3, so I think it's almost, it's almost
You
okay.
came to Concord when you were 3?
I came to Southwest New Hampshire where I live. I moved to Peterborough when I was 3, so I'm almost a native. But
That's fine.
I know.
I wasn't either. I was born in Manchester.
but you claim it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
So I know that what happens is Yankees is that we stay in. We consider ourselves working in our worlds, and we kind of stay in our silos. And that model's starting to shift. We're all starting to work with each other.
Well, let's repeat now, because I can't believe it, but we have only 5 minutes left. Can you believe? I mean, really, you need
we
to
could
come.
keep talking for hours.
That's right. So, Miriam Carter, the executive director of the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen, is on Community Conversations with me right now, and we want to have her and her marketing person hopefully do more on Concord TV.
We'd love
to. Love to do that. So, all right, August 4th through 12th, Craftsman Fair, the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen's Fair at Mount Sunapee Resort in Newbury, New Hampshire. Make sure you put that on your calendar. And rain or shine, I mean, the tents, you're not going to get wet,
No.
Go there for the day.
And by the way, Mount Sunapee Resort is a great place to go. You can ride the chairlift up the mountain. They have an adventure park. They're a great partner as well. Right. And just a little hint that our tickets are discounted through our website.
Yes.
Through the end of this month, June. So I would encourage people to go.
Yeah.
And also go into July. There's going to be postcards all around town with discounts on the postcards.
That's great, great.
Feel free to go to
around,
the chamber if you're looking for
If you're not seeing this until July, that's fine, because you can go looking for the postcards. Awesome. Okay, so but the other big deal is the Capital Arts Fest, September 28th through 30th. So this is a fundraiser for you?
Yeah, everything we do is a fundraiser.
Everything you do is a fundraiser, for sure. I get that.
We're a big organization, and it costs a lot to be in business. So I'm just an optimist and think that, and a realist actually, that you can't rely on one major fundraiser called the Annual Craftsmen's Fair solely. So we do other development efforts. We've done the Taste of the League series, which has been wonderful. We had a great event this past fall, but we needed another event, and we needed a community event, because believe it or not, as much as you know about the organization and more people around the state know, there's many people who don't know about us. And so it's my job to make sure people like everyone across the state and other states learn about us, and so I appreciate opportunities like this on a local level to say, hey, get to know us and come see us, visit us, and please support us.
Other ways they can support, they can, of course, become a supporting member.
They can, easily found on our brand new website. It's a great website.
nhcrafts.org, yes. And also volunteers. Can you use volunteers for this event?
Oh, thank you for both. Yeah, so people can feel free to give us a call at 224-3375. We'd love to have assistance for our Mount Sunapee League of New Hampshire Craftsmen's Fair in August, and there's a benefit to that, because you get to work a few hours and then enjoy the fair at no cost.
That's great.
And then the same for the Capital Arts Fest. We really need a community team of volunteers, because we're going to have a lot of people coming to the fair to set up for the first time, and we need a team of backers. So I know the chamber committees will help us, but any volunteers from the community would be welcome.
And we hope that Concord TV will be able to planning on getting a lot of extra video for you, so that we can get the word out there.
Yeah, we would love that.
And you're on social media as well, right?
We are.
Facebook.
We are.
And
everything.
And Instagram and all of that.
The whole bit.
Right. So there'll be food, refreshments, music,
craft, a lot of beautiful craft, fine art.
Right. Amazingly, and that's kind of like right there at the beginning of the foliage season. So. We have some great hotels in Concord as well,
gosh,
so better book now.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, and we originally thought we would do Columbus Day weekend, but that's way too busy. There's many going on, so it'll always be the week. It will always be the last weekend in September moving forward.
final thing you want to share with us, Miriam Carter?
Yeah, I'd like
Yes.
to share that I really enjoyed meeting Doris Ballard,
Oh,
and that
oh,
you are a
thank
big
you.
advocate for this, the city, and for this organization that you're an executive director of. And I really thank you for this opportunity, because I think New Hampshire is a very wonderful place to live, and I think moments like this and organizations like this help us to understand that. So
Well, thank you very much, and I hope we may use this for a testimonial, because we're going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary.
Woohoo, you're
next year.
babies.
Yeah, yeah, we are 85 years. My gosh.
But you've got my
Yeah.
vote.
Oh,
So.
well, thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Miriam Carter. Thank you for all you do for the arts community in Concord and beyond, and all throughout New Hampshire.
Thank you.
And make sure that I remind the public to go to nhcrafts.org and to see some of the wonderful creations that your artisans are creating at the Sunapee. At the Craftsmen Fair, which is held at Mount Sunapee Resort in Newbury, New Hampshire, and put down September 28th through 30th right there on South Main Street. You're going to be able to enjoy the beautiful new Main Street, and food and refreshments and entertainment. Capital Center for the Arts is involved, as is are many others. And we have some beautiful sculptures on Main Street too.
You certainly do.
Right. So thank you very much, Miriam.
Thank you.
That was very kind of you, and it was also my honor to get to know you.
Oh, thanks.
Right. Thank you for tuning into Community Conversations. We are a production of Concord Community TV, your community media center, and keep in touch with us on Facebook, and also yourconcordtv.org. Go to our website, and I thank Melissa Sweat here, who is our director and producer and everything else extraordinaire for the Produce Support Program. And you could create a show here at Concord TV as well. So 226-8872, and your phone number at the League?
224-3375.
All right, sounds good. Thank you again, Miriam.
My pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in, and share this program with you when it's up on our website, yourconcordtv.org, as well, and on Facebook. Thank you.
You're watching Community Conversations, a Concord TV production.